about follow-ups. Follow-ups if you have a lash academy, follow-ups if you have a lash salon, follow-ups if you have a lash supply online store. I'm just going to try and invite Paola in. Hey Paola, if you're on, just click invite. Then we love technology. Yay!
Did it work?
Yeah, it did.
Fantastic. This is my first ever live, so
Oh, fantastic.
this is all new
Look
to
at
me.
You look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
You look
Thank you.
so
I got
lovely.
ready for the event because lockdown, we're walking around in just tracky dacks and so.
Oh, don't get me started. You don't want to see me. I know.
I think
I know
everyone's
the
feeling
feeling.
that
Oh my gosh. So have you had a good morning so far?
Yes, went to the beach. So the beach is just about a 5-minute drive from
Oh,
here.
I'm
So
jealous.
had coffee, had a bit of a walk, and then came back. So yeah.
So where
So
exactly?
good. And how about you?
Not too bad. I went for a walk with my little dog. I'm trying to keep a routine with all the lockdown as well, in terms of making sure I exercise every day, if not every morning. And it's helping. It's helping a bit.
Excellent. And you said you had a puppy.
I do. He's actually here. Come here. That's Mr. Rusty.
Aw, very cute.
He actually
Very
hates the
cute.
camera though, so
I've got
he hates the camera.
he's very
All right. So this is just going to be a little conversation for everyone who's popping on either Saturday night if they are overseas or Sunday morning, which most of us have followers who are in Australia. So it'll be really good. So I just want to ask you some questions, but before I do, can you introduce yourself so everyone knows who you are?
Yeah, okay. So my name's Paola. I own Belladonlaqua Institute. I've had this business now going on 8 years. I didn't celebrate our birthday this year because we've been in lockdown, but 8 years, and it's been lots of ups and downs, but basically we started the concept of unit by unit education for the beauty industry. So what that means is instead of doing, say, a full qualification, so doing a full apprenticeship or a certificate 4 or a certificate 3 or a diploma in beauty therapy, you could break it up into individual units. And the reason I kind of stumbled into that was because I was a mature age student. I just left the corporate industry, and I wanted to get into the beauty industry, and the only option at the time was either do 1 year full-time college or 4-year apprenticeship. And so I ended up doing a 4-year apprenticeship.
Wow, okay.
But as a mature age student who's just left a corporate industry, the pay was $240 a week, and it was absolute torture for an apprentice, right? So I thought there's got to be an easier way to get into the beauty industry without this struggle, because I literally, at the time, I had just left an abusive relationship. I was in a women's refuge, so I was homeless, and I just started my apprenticeship a month earlier. And I had no choice but to, I wanted that piece of paper. I wanted to complete my apprenticeship, so I stuck it out. So I was spending $20 a week on groceries, which is impossible. My rent was at the time $145 a week. You know, so it was really hard to get into the industry, plus trying to rebuild your life from scratch. And so I thought, could there be a better way to do this? And so many years later, after being in the industry for quite a while, I came up with the unit by unit study option. So, and that's how Belladonlaqua was born.
Fantastic. Wow, you've got a wealth of knowledge
Yeah.
All in one bundle there. That's
Well,
crazy.
I've got a wealth of knowledge of what not to do.
Yeah.
So if there's a mistake, I've made it. I promise you. There are lots of things that, I probably in hindsight could have done a different way, a better way. But yeah, I've definitely been through a lot and done it all.
That's good. That's amazing. Yeah. So along the way, over the period of years, you would have come across a lot of students in your academy.
Yep.
You would come across a lot of customers in your salon, and also customers that you sell products to. So what we're going to do today is talk about follow-ups. It's really, really important for people to understand that it is one thing to try and attract those customers and clients, but it's another thing to try and retain them.
Absolutely.
So your camera is kind of a little bit fuzzy. Is it the reception or just like, can you see yourself in your own video?
I can see me clearly.
Okay, it's probably just me then. Oh, it's gone better now. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's gone a little bit better now. Maybe it's my phone.
You're all sparkly.
I do.
Right.
I was all sweaty coming from my walk just now, so maybe that's what it is.
No, it's
all right. So
it's that glow.
Oh my gosh. All right. So the first thing we'll talk about then is I'm going to separate all three parts of the lash industry. So we'll focus on the lash salon itself, whether someone is a beginner, advanced, or master lash artist. What would you suggest to them in terms of following up on their clients once they've gone through, the client's journey? So take us through what you would do as a lash artist or a beauty therapist anyway, because it's for the whole industry. What kind of journey would you take your customers through, their experience with you, and then your follow-up in terms of just the salon sense?
So are you talking about as in acquiring the clients or once they've already found you and have booked in?
Maybe both in terms of the salon, because I think some people are still a bit grey in terms of how to get clients. So I know that's a long list, but keep it to something small and then following up.
I think if you're starting out as a lash artist, my number one thing is professionalism from A to Z when you're presenting yourself. So when it comes to your booking process, making sure that you've got that on point, making sure you've got a professional booking software to take appointments is important. Especially, like in my day, we used to use that old school hairdresser book, right?
Oh, yeah, I remember it. Yep.
Right? So now I feel like there should be no excuse for anyone starting out to have a proper professional booking software. And there is a lot of ones at the moment that are free to use. There are small fees, but they're fees that are only taken out once you take the client to a fiend package and lash. So there's no upfront cost. So I think number one would be having a booking software. So you've got a link that you can give to a client, put it on your social media platform so that they can book online.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely want to have that set up properly. And when I say properly, I mean make sure you check all your spelling, things like that. So a lot of lash artists that are starting out, especially the younger ones, they don't pay attention to their spelling. I think that's really important when you're presenting yourself as a professional lash artist. All those small details need to be looked at carefully. So make sure that if you're setting up your price list, your booking software, check your spelling, make sure it's title case, so that you're presenting yourself professionally. That's step number one. When the client approaches you and is coming to your setup, you want to make sure that everything is from A to Z pristine as possible. From your signage to your reception area, your warm welcome when they walk through the door. Make sure you're smiling. Make sure you've got a uniform on. Especially when you're working from home, because how I started in the beauty industry, when I was doing my apprenticeship, I also used to work at home on the weekend.
Yes.
And so even if you are working from home, you still want to present professionally. So make sure you're not in, you know, things that you wouldn't wear to a salon. Make sure you have a uniform, even if you're working from home.
I'm a little bit old school, even though I'm very relaxed on social media here. Do you remember those nice tunics, the salon tunics? I love those. They look so clean. They're refreshed. You can chuck them over anything that you're wearing. So simple.
Exactly, and it's actually a requirement too. So for the health and hygiene side of our business, we have to actually make sure we maintain a clean uniform. So if you are bringing people to your home and you've got a little space, make sure you're wearing your uniform, make sure it's clean, you've got makeup on, your hair's tied back, you're wearing perfume, all the things that you would do in a salon. Those are really important
100%.
when you're starting out your business. Because remember, I don't know if you guys would have learnt this in school, but I remember we used to have a subject about how to acquire a job, right? So we used to have job studies, interview studies, right? And so they used to say, you've got 3 seconds to create a good first impression. 3 seconds, right? It's probably 2 now with social media and our attention span. So make sure that you're setting that first impression from the get-go. And once they've arrived, you greet them, you bring them through to your reception area, make sure you're bubbly, warm, welcoming, smiling. That's all really important. And you must make sure that you'll maintain that at all times. Even when you're having an off day, you still have to do it. So, you know, my boss used to say, suck it up, you know, and just, you know, put on a bright face and always be welcoming and warm.
I think the only problem with that now is a lot of, sorry to break you, Paula. A lot of people who are doing lash extensions now, they did not come from the beauty background. So it's a little bit more difficult now because not even knowing how to do certain beauty treatments, it's just lashes. The education that you would have received from a beauty school in terms of, you know, how to present yourself and business operations, it's kind of missing. So there's a big gap. Yeah.
There is a massive gap. So, and that's why I sort of mention that when you say, you know, bringing a client through and what's the journey. When you're doing eyelash courses now, you're absolutely right. A lot of that is missing in the training because it is very short training. The courses that we do are a minimum of 5 days. They used to be 6 days, now it's 5. And we make sure that that's part of our training. So the students will do between 2 to 3 models, live models per day throughout that 5-day course.
Right.
And we're always pushing that. So they're doing custom consultations with the client on how to design their lashes with their client. And we are going through making sure how you greet them, warm, bubbly, from checking them in to checking them out. All of that is part of the training and should be part of anyone taking on the responsibility of training someone. That needs to be part of the course. So if you're taking someone on who is brand new to the industry, it is your responsibility as the trainer to make sure that you are delivering that content to the student, because that is going to be the make or break of their success. You're making sure that you're getting the foundations right, what they should be doing in their career in order to be successful. Right. So if you're missing that, then you are going... it's going to impair your success.
Yeah, that's right. So you've mentioned before about, you know, taking your client through your salon on this journey. Once they've completed their service with you, how do you follow up on that?
Sure. So with follow-ups, there's a few ways you could do this. We with our booking software, you can actually send out messages. So it's an automated message that you can program in the back end. So it does it for you. It also asks the client for feedback or a review. So it's all automated. So in that sense, we're quite lucky. We use Schedule, which is now rebranded.
Oh yeah, Schedule's good. Oh, actually, it was.
So
yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's now changed to Fresher. So if you're starting out, that's probably one of my best recommendations is using Fresher to get you started, and it'll do a lot of that stuff for you. If you want to personally give your client a call and see how they're doing, you could always schedule it in your diary as a weekly task to give your clients a call to see how they're going, and get them to. You may get them to rebook on that phone call if they have not already rebooked on the day that they came in for their appointment.
Yes.
One of the things that we do is we text our clients weekly. So we're texting of, because we're in education, it's a little bit different.
Okay.
We're texting our clients weekly of what services are coming up because we have different classes each week, different subjects. So one week we might be teaching eyelash extensions, next week it might be facials, micro, skin needling, things like that. So we're constantly in contact with our clients.
And what are the things that you kind of say in the emails or the text messages to say, you know, either, no, I won't say it, I'll let you say it, but what are the things you kind of email or message them as a follow-up?
Yeah, sure. Things that you could say would be like, what have we got in our, we've actually got one that says, I've got blank now. I think it says, thank you for joining us on, and it'll have the actual date, so it's automated from your database. We're so glad to see you. Hope to see you again soon. If you have any feedback about your appointment, let us know. So
perfect. Yeah.
Something like that. And that's feedback
perfect.
Is when those feedbacks come through into your system, make sure that you're putting it in your diary to actually schedule time to review those as well, because sometimes you know, it's set and forget, but we really actually need that feedback. We've got to go in and actually check what did our clients say.
And for the customers and for the customers that come into the salon and you send your follow-up text or a message to say, you know, thank you for coming in, if you have any feedback, let us know. You'll get your good ones and you'll get your bad ones. What do you do about the bad ones?
It depends how bad.
I mean, I'm sure they're small now for you. Look, because you've got to, you know, perfect your system.
Look, I've been in business for 8 years, and one of my things is, even when I was working in a salon, is don't ever give a person a reason to speak. So when I was working, so what I mean by that, this is my internal dialogue. So when I used to work in a salon, if I ever had a manager who was really on my tail and would, or not just me, if I noticed that she would, you know, pick on things around the salon with other therapists or with me or whatever, I would make sure she would never have to speak about that issue again. Meaning I would lift my performance so that she would never have to see maybe, I don't know, something was not cleaned or not followed up, or so I'd have my own personal schedule of my checklist to make sure everything was on point, so that my manager or my colleagues never had a reason to speak or to critique anything. Right? And so that's something that's always followed me even into my own business. Right? Amazing. So whenever I'm doing something, I will self-assess and make sure everything's 5-star. Make sure there is nothing around me that someone can critique. And so when someone does, I'm just shocked. So
I know. I remember when I was working in It's true. I remember when I used to work in a salon years ago, and the person that I worked for at the time, she was fine, but we had complaints, and the complaints were so simple. Like, a client might walk through the door, first time client, and their staff members at the receptionist door talking and not paying her any attention, or the tables that they did facial waxing weren't cleaned up straight away. So little things like that. You're welcoming someone into your home, and it's the same thing if you are working from home as well. You're welcoming someone in. So it seems shallow, but first impressions last.
Absolutely. They'll never forget that. So, like I said before, you've got those first 3 seconds. The moment someone will walk through the door, you've got to make sure you're on point. Just think of my influence behind my business. My what's the word that I'm looking for? My cat's trying to get my attention. He wants cuddles. Of the first possible time. Is when you go into a hotel, right? I've always had a thing for hotels and having a coffee at a hotel or catching up at a hotel. That's my thing, right? So if
your page looks like that. It's very clean and
that's my inspo. Inspo is the word that I was looking for. So my inspiration is hotels. Okay. So whenever I go to a hotel, I look at the staff, I look at the environment. That's my influence, right?
Yeah.
So
beautiful. Okay.
And I stick to that benchmark, right? Whenever I'm doing anything, whenever I'm designing anything about my business or my presentation, or when clients are coming in, that's my benchmark. Is a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So,
and so that's probably something that I would encourage anyone who's getting into businesses. When you're creating your little empire, aim for the stars and make
like
sure
your little brand. Yeah.
If you're creating your brand, make sure it's premium.
Yeah.
Because there is and I know people will come at me for saying this, but there's too much average. Right? So
no, I agree. I totally agree.
There's too much average and too much competition. So there's got to be something that you do that's above and beyond. So if you're choosing that
100%
lifestyle or your career option is to go into business, you've got to make sure that everything that you do is on point. Right?
Yes.
Because there is so much competition. There's so you have everything.
I value that point quite a lot, where a lot of us in the beauty industry, specifically lash technicians, when they're starting their business, they have not really sat down to think about why they want to build their brand or how. So in your instance, you're taking inspiration from a hotel. The time that you walk through the hotel, the counteraction you have with the concierge, how to get your room and all of that beautiful decor. So if someone were to start their lash extensions business, they need to come with their own inspiration to make it their own and stand out from the rest. I totally agree.
Right.
Love it.
And
I mean, all right. So hope
to in order to make sure that your business goes the distance. So sorry.
Yeah, 100%. That's all right. So we've just talked about the follow-up with clients in terms of a salon. Now, in terms of a lash academy, people who train individuals to learn lashes or any beauty treatment for that matter.
Yeah.
How do you follow up with students once they've finished training from you? Whether it's a 3-day course, a 5-day course, what procedures and systems did you or do you have in place to make sure that they follow suit and they're on top of their A game?
That one, depending what they've studied. So if they're doing eyelash extensions, I would probably wait either 2 weeks to a month before I make that follow-up
Yeah.
call.
Okay.
And it just depends on the student. So when we've had a student for 5 days, we've built a relationship and we've had time to sort of talk about their situation and where they're headed. Some have already started setting up their room, some haven't. So it depends where they are in the stage of their setup. So if I know that they're ready to start as soon as they finish, well, then I'll probably give them a call after a couple of weeks. But if they haven't started yet, probably wait a month before actually giving them a call. And that it should be a physical call rather than an email. It can be an email, but I think students appreciate that conversation because
kind of
although you may think it might be a quick conversation, it ends up being like a coaching session, so it can take up to an hour for the call, depending on their situation.
And do you find that is it better for you to reach out to the students as opposed to wait until they have problems that they need to solve to reach out to you?
I think it's probably best that you call them and don't wait, because sometimes I know when I first started the business I was very, very busy and I didn't really have a lot of time, so I used to work 7 days a week. Sometimes it was 10-hour days, classes and clients at night, and then weekends as well. So when I first started the business it wasn't something that we were doing. And so those students, some had kept in contact and some haven't. And you sort of find out over the years that, they didn't end up going into it at all. They decided to, got in the way and
to come out.
Find out eventually through the
grapevine. It's not for everyone.
It's not for everyone. So, I think definitely endeavour to keep in contact with your students regularly, and if you're not doing physical calls, things like this is also great as well. Doing
100%.
lives or Zoom calls as well, now that I think seeing people is better than the phone, I think.
I know. I'm a people person as well, too. I thrive off that.
And if you're getting into this industry, you have to have that element of, connection and being bubbly and friendly and that people person. Absolutely. Sure.
That's cool. Now, in terms of being a supplier, so in our industry, whether you are doing services and you upsell products or you're training people to do beauty services like lash extensions or how to do facials, inevitably it's good to sell products. So what kind of advice would you give other beauty therapists who are selling products, how they could follow up on their customers? So you buy something from me and you're my customer. You've bought something from me. What do I do to follow up to make sure that you are comfortable and you're satisfied with my product? In the e-commerce sense, buying supplies.
In the e-commerce sense, to be honest, we've launched our online, but we haven't really delved into it much. So our beauty supply section is more the kits that we give to the students. So we've got a very big area for our beauty supplies, but it's at the moment we're giving that the items in the kits where the students are coming to class and using the products in class.
That's right. Yeah.
And we get the return. So once the student has left the college and gone out and started their business, some will purchase products from us, whether it's over the phone or they'll have it. They'll email their order through, but they haven't been using our online platform, which is interesting. Even though we have it, it's there. But they've been calling or emailing the order through, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's probably the way you trained them to order from you.
I think because sometimes it's an excuse to call to say hi and And so that's when it leads into, oh, by the way, I need this, this, and this. Yeah, sure, no worries. And then
well, that's good. That goes to show you that customer relationship goes a long way no matter what you're doing.
That's right.
So what is in store for you now? I know that you are in New South Wales, Australia, and there's a bit of a, one day there's a lockdown, one day there isn't. Yeah. What's in store for you now?
So we're getting ready to reopen on the 11th. So the lockdown is being lifted on the 11th. So we're starting an eyelash class that very week. So right now we're just getting the studio cleaned up and ready because it gets dusty. It's been closed for so many weeks now. So we're getting ready for that, and we've got some stock take and check that everything's in order, and we've got all our supplies. What's in store for this year? I'm personally looking at changing my direction. I'm trying to sort of step out of teaching personally. So it's probably the first time I've said that publicly. So we'll see what's going to happen. We do have our online training, but I think I need to sort of step back and actually set some time aside to actually film me in action. There's not a lot of content of me in action. I've always been very old school and a big believer that students need to be in class and have that hands-on experience and learn in a classroom, because there's a lot that you don't get in a video, right? So, or sometimes we might have a video on and just zone out. I know I do, right? So I'll start a YouTube video and 2 minutes in and I'm doing something else, or so I'm having students in a classroom so that they're focused and watching a demonstration. But that does take up a lot of time, and but as a teacher, you need that in classroom experience, because that's where you see.
I 100% agree. I mean, I do agree. I mean, from a business money-making side, it's good to have things online because you get things coming through faster. But I think in terms of reward and having successful students, you really can't be face-to-face training. You really can't.
Yeah. So I think the future for the education industry definitely is all going to be moving online, and I'm all for it. So from a teacher's perspective, that does save a lot of my time. So if they can do their theory at home and watch some tutorial videos at home before they get to class, that's great. But I think
that's fine.
It's pretty cool that once they are in class, you still have that revision time. So you still want to make sure that they have gone through that content online. You need to see how much they have retained. If there's anything that you need to, I think you need to sort of ask questions and see how much they know from what they've learnt online. What stuck
100%.
and what hasn't. And so you open up that dialogue in your revision time in the morning, and then we do our practical in the afternoon. So every morning we'll have theory time, revision time, and then go through activities and assessments, and then after lunch we'll do practical. So
then there's a practical. That sounds well laid out, definitely. So for just wrapping up now, what would you say to any kind of beginner lash technician now who's just starting out? What would you say to her in terms of being on top of her A game with customer service? Because that's pretty much how the business is going to run. You know, we can do we can do all our automations and setting up the room and having booking systems and technologies and pretty phones. But at the end of the day, if the client is not given 100% attention, there's no business. So what would you suggest? Right. Yeah, or recommend to a newbie?
There's two sides to me. There's the business side of me, where I'm head down, bum up, you know, very strict and rigid, and I have my diary and I've got my to-do list. And then there's the salon bubbly side of me, which is client customer service. And they are two very different people. So when I'm in salon, I'm very warm, I'm very bubbly, I'm very energetic, and you have to be welcoming, right? You have to be nurturing. You have to be loving and caring. Now, I can't tell you how many times when I was younger I used to go into a salon and I would have a therapist just size me up. Have you ever seen, like, do you know what I'm talking about when I say size? Yeah. And you automatically feel like, oh God, I don't belong in here, right?
Yeah.
It's when you're welcoming someone into your salon, it's like you're welcoming them into your home, like you said before, right? So you have to be very warm, bubbly, energetic, loving and caring. Now, there are going to be some clients that you just don't connect with. And for those of you who don't believe in laws of attraction, well, I'm going to tell you, getting into the beauty industry, you're definitely going to discover laws of attraction. One thing that I learnt over the years from when I did my apprenticeship to a salon clinic is you attract people that are very similar to you. And the ones that are you don't connect with, they tend to sort of, disappear, right? And they'll find who they connect with.
I know.
So I've been very... You will attract...
That is so true. I actually...
people that are similar to you.
Yes.
And I've been
100%.
And you will attract people to you. So all of my clients, all of the models that come here and are models for our students, they're all elderly ladies because they're the people that I connect with. Right? I didn't go off and play with the kids. I was sitting around. We're Italian, so they're all the old wogs, talking loudly and being Italian. And I'd be sitting there just watching them, right? So I was that little kid that was just so mesmerised by the old people. So all my clients are elderly, mature age people, and most of my students are like that too. And the younger ones...
And they're the ones that have the substantial income. So, yeah.
Exactly right. So you'll find that...
It's funny you say this. I was on a coaching call with a young lady yesterday. She may or may not sign up to the coaching program that I have. And I was saying to her just then that to get the clients that she wants, they pretty much are going to be mimicking you. You know, she's into the fitness and she's such a gorgeous girl.
Right.
And she's fiery and she's got vibes, she's got the energy. And I'm like, those are the people that you should probably reach out to market your lash products to. And you'll be so happy being in their, their space while you're doing the lashes. Yep. So I so agree with that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like if you look at, key people, can I mention names? Should I mention names or should I leave it neutral?
I'm sure they'll be fine.
So if you're from Sydney or New South Wales, you'll have people like Lana Tarek. I don't know if you're familiar with who that is.
Yeah.
So Lana Tarek, she's a brow queen. She does brow tattooing. And if you look at her client base and if you look at her Instagram, all of her clients are a mimic of who she is and what she looks like.
Of her. Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you look at Musamea is another one, right? She's out at Granville. I'm giving free plugs here. Same thing.
I know, right?
You look at their Instagram and if you look at their client base, their appearance is a mimic of who they are personally. So I'm a big believer that you attract people very you. And those...
attract your tribe.
You attract your tribe, right? So people that you don't vibe with will reason.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh.
In my
that was so lovely. That's so lovely, Paula. Thank you so much. You're so amazing. Well, I hope that people who popped in managed to get some information from you about how to follow up with their students or clients, whether they're in a lash academy, their lash salon, or if they sell products. So what I will do is put your handle, your social media handle after this. Hopefully technology doesn't shit itself and I can't plug it. And everyone else will be able to see this video whenever they like. I'll just keep post it up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sounds great.
So enjoy the rest of your day. I think it's still the weekend.
Yes, you too.
Yeah, you too.
Well, sounds like you
and we'll keep in touch. Melbourne. Yeah, you know how it goes. It was sunny earlier, so I went for my walk.
Yeah.
Just had brekkie, so I'm gonna do a bit of a home workout, home training, and that's it for the day for me. Just gonna take it easy for Sunday. Yeah.
Did you still do competition? I was looking through your page.
Well, yeah, thank you. I post a lot of that mostly on my personal Instagram and personal Facebook because I don't think anyone wants to see a half naked muscly girl on a lash page. But
you're just
you know
pure
what,
muscle.
my competition oh, thank you. It's so much work. The competition was supposed to be in 3 weeks coming on the Gold Coast in Australia. But because of all the lockdowns and what's happening, it's obviously not going through. But funny enough, for those people who are in the fitness industry, you learn a lot of discipline and sacrifice prepping for a show. And I've decided that even though the show is not going ahead, I am going to push through until that date to get my desired body. I'm still working with a coach and all that, but I'm just going to keep doing it because, well, there's nothing else to do with lockdown apart from my lash business. So, yeah. Just keep doing it. Keep being consistent. And the same thing follows through with everybody in business, just keep following through.
Absolutely. The car will only move if you push the accelerator. So
100%.
Accelerators. So push. Excellent. Wonderful.
100%.
Well, thank you for today.
All right. Thank you, Paola. No worries.
Enjoy the rest of your